they don't come to me until after the ladies have worked with them and the ladies have gone through their processes and they've made the cutoff list and they've had their utilities turned off. We're seeing long cutoff lists, are we not, Leanne? And you would understand that and know why we are. But I just want to make you aware that the cutoff list gets longer, it seems, in these times. It's the most difficult thing I do, probably, and that's to try to, with equity, make arrangements with folks or make a decision that, no, we've gone as far as we can go. And I tell you the policy I take. If the people are up front with us, I do everything I can to accommodate a payment plan. For those who do everything they can to trick us, for example, call and represent a law firm that's in, they say is in Tampa, but has a local number, telephone number, and talk to me like that, and other, then I'm probably tighter with folks who try all kinds of means of trickery as opposed to simply being straight up with us. Anybody who comes in and says, I know I've got a problem, I know what caused the problem, I'm willing to pay you extra and such, I bend over backwards to help those folks. But in protecting the city, I cannot be hoodwinked when it comes to these types of situations either. And I don't think you want to let us lose lots of money simply because we were very lax in these considerations. But it goes without saying, if you had any thought about it at all, you would know the cutoff list is long nowadays.
Yeah, I appreciate you working with these people and encourage you to continue to work with them as long as they'll be up front with you.
Well, I shall, and you know that, and Leanne and she's in it just as heavily as I am, because, again, I don't know anything until they give me all of the information that they have, the experience they've had with the customer before they even come to me. But it is a tough job, and Leanne will tell you that it's very tough on the ladies up front. And the ladies know that when it gets to a point where it's really working on them, that they can refer them to me. And I don't do it privately. They see and they hear what I do, what deals I make with them, so that they are aware of all that I do in terms of making an arrangement. And they can, if they see me fudging one way or other and not being kind enough, they can alert me that they think I'm not, or they can do the other too. And so, again, I don't do it in a vacuum. I have them in here, the considerations and then the decisions. And they are very helpful to me in that process. However, again, if we make our revenues, and I think again it will be dependent on what our carry forward is, we'll be able to go through a tight budget year in water utilities and wastewater. You look at the expense page on page 13, and you see that the contingency is low. I want a $100,000 contingency in water and $100,000 in sewer, and you see we're half that just about in the water. The capital outlay, I will hold those expenditures well into the year before we approve them to make sure that, again, such things as carry forward as we have projected. Those are the last expenditures we allow. And for another practical reason, and that is to be sure that the has cash flow in the accounts to accommodate those. And the next page 15 is the wastewater utility department. the same contingency amount, and that's too low for my comfort. You look at the next page, the capital outlay, and that is where we service our debt for the wastewater plant. The first two numbers are debt service numbers. Next year, we'll have the USDA debt service for the project that we are applying now, assuming that we'll be successful in that. And hopefully we get a very favorable percentage of grant versus loan in that project. The next page is the natural gas utility. This is the healthiest enterprise and healthiest budget of all. And the reason is we've had 2 cold winters. Now, if we have a warm winter, we're going to be using what has been accumulated in these 2 cold winters. So I don't want you to think that because this budget is fairly healthy right now that we could do as we might wish without serious consideration. The carry forward is healthy, and again, if indeed this winter should be a very warm winter, then we might not make our revenues as projected. So we'd have to go somewhere to make up the difference, and that's where we would go in that carry forward.
Might not get him either if the economy and people can't pay it. You know, that's.
If people decide to do without it, then we would be greatly affected.
That's the same problem with the water.
Yes,
That's correct. So, just remember, though I tell you, and you can see that this is a healthy budget, we've got to maintain something for all these contingencies that you know could occur. Therefore, the expenses, we have just the right expenses, I think, but we have, again, a very healthy contingency, because that is because of the healthy carry forward. And again, if we have problems and we have to consider reduced revenues, then we have got to either reduce expenses or we've got to be able to use that contingency. The capital outlay is on the next page. And then we move to the sanitation department. This is the 2 pages that I asked you to insert anew. And this one is getting a little better than it was because of the fact that you increased the rates. Again, don't know if we'll make the 25,000 carry forward at this point, but the revenue and expenses will accommodate the same service that we offer at this point in time.
Well, last year, didn't we purchase a truck?
We did.
Out of the general fund?
No, we purchased the sanitation packer out of water sewer utility funds, and I paid that back.
Okay.
But we did use those, and fortunately, at the time that we used them, I did not know that we'd have the ability to pay it back, so we paid it back from non-recurring monies.
But not
And
out of
I'll show you where it came from in a little while.
But
It
that
did
was
not
not,
come out of
so
sanitation.
the sanitation really was not charged for that
That is
year.
correct. They did not pay for that either, either upfront or reimbursement. Couldn't afford it by any means.
We were looking at it.
However, we're very fortunate to have that truck. Our vehicle maintenance line item is, you can see the difference. Sir?
I was wondering, look at that and wondering, that's twice a week service. And if we were privatized, talking really, the operation's pretty small, and I doubt really if city residents could get it at the same price.
Well, based on what I have paid personally for private service, the latest in Marietta, and the comparisons I have done, the competitive analysis of local communities, we are well below what they are paying for private service. That's the expense to the citizen. And again,
I think you gotta leave that alone.
I know that. That's part of the reason I mentioned it.
you can rest assured, if you were to privatize this operation, the citizen would be paying considerably more.
And probably once a week.
You would not, the private sector could not provide this service level at this amount of money. However, I feel good about this department now that we've got that new truck, Packer. But you are right, you bring a legitimate point up, Mayor. This fund was not capable of buying that truck, and we had to buy it from other sources. The expenses, generally what cost us the most in operating those trucks besides our labor is fuel, diesel fuel.
You want to switch to natural gas?
And our landfill charges. But 27,000 contingency is a decent contingency in this fund now. The special revenue funds, these are earmarked money, mostly grants, but not all of them, but they are earmarked monies. And the reason we put them in a special category is because you cannot mix those monies and lose them in the general fund or any other and carry forward. You've got to maintain your carry forward in that and for that particular project. If you look at law enforcement provisions, the first one on page 22, that's the revenue comes from the education surcharge that is associated with every traffic citation that I or you might receive. And it is dedicated to education for law enforcement. You cannot use it for equipment. You cannot use it outside of law enforcement. Thus, again, a special revenue where that money is maintained for that purpose and that purpose only. The next one, again, is special law enforcement programs. We think, we're quite confident we'll get a grant. The county will get a total grant. We will get part of it at $10,924. And the police chief wishes to buy evidence processing equipment with that grant money. That's from the Edward Byrd Memorial. If you look at the next one, I told you about this when we were talking about the street department. This is street transportation maintenance, and the revenue is motor fuel tax. We will get $24,000 this year, and that's about what we'll get from here out until we sell more motor fuel within the city. You see that fund balance carry forward is an amount that was left over after we had completed all the work in the downtown that we had dedicated to originally. So this year, we're able to spend a little more in this special revenue account because of that. Once that's gone, it's gone. That's not recurring, that carry forward of $62,400. So you see that I put a good amount for fuels and the materials and aggregates, which I pointed out to you, and the capital outlay, which I pointed out to you. The sidewalk parking match is what we've traditionally done every year, where somebody wants to improve the sidewalk or create parking for the public, and we'll pay half and we match it. And the rest of it is for some needed equipment in that department.
That will not be much as far as any street repair.
No, that materials and aggregate simply provides us what we need to patch and repair. It does not give us the ability to remake, rework, and produce something new. If you look at the CRA, the Community Redevelopment Agency, those monies are limited to expense within that district and within that district only. see the revenue from the city and then from the county. And the carry forward is healthy at this point in time. And looking at the expenditures, this is where we've always proposed to pay the debt service on the USDA grant, which will be initiated this year. I'm certain when they complete the construction. We have the closing of that project. We also maintain the streetscape by the mulch and such that we need the street wiring that you wanted to correct all that lighting so that it could be. We've been several years of trying to get that to function properly. We've got it a little better, but we've still got some more to do. And if you recall, that all came about in previous years from too many hands in the kitchen. This contractor did that, this contractor did this, and there was not a coordinated effort to know what was going on. And we're paying for that and correcting it. In the municipal improvement commitments, this was money that we had received back in the MCI settlement, and this is merely carried forward. We have spent most of that in projects, but I did save this carry forward for the burn pit curtain that DEP might require. When they require, I at least have that paid for. And if you leave that money dedicated for that purpose.
Is that working in cooperation with the county?
That's what we would hope to do. And as you know, Alan and I have got a relationship where when we want to do something, we're usually able to do it together. So that's what would be our intent if we're going to do it at all. The water sewer impact fees, you know about those, and we want to complete the drying bed facility at the treatment plant. We need one more drying bed. If you drive by there, you will see where we're utilizing the one we constructed this year. And again, the purpose of that is we go to lift stations and we clean those lift stations out. We take that debris that is in there and lay it on those drying beds where the leachate soaks through and out. And then we take the solid, the paper products and tennis shoes and basketballs, and beautiful to find. Use your imagination. And then we carry that to the landfill. We put it in the dumpster and it's hauled to the landfill, properly disposed. The benefit to that, hopefully, and I'm confident, this will lessen the impact of maintenance on the pumps in the lift station. You know good and well when they block a 2x4 that's 2.5 feet long, gets in one of those things, and you can find that frequently. It bangs up and kills the pump. I never have an invoice to repair one of those pumps that's less than $4,000 or $5,000. So you see why that line item is so high in the wastewater department, pump repair. This can only help us in that regard. No, it will not eliminate maintenance of the pumps, but hopefully, and again, confidently, it will lessen the extreme wear and tear on those pumps, and thus lessen the cost we pay to maintain them. So a very worthwhile project. The neighborhood redevelopment local, and this, I titled it that simply, that's the revenue comes from the sale of property proceeds. And heretofore, we have used that for the dilapidated removal project and the sidewalk project that we did. I continue to budget a good amount in dilapidated removal. Hopefully we stay successful with that and continue to remove dilapidated structures in the community. And now, Mr. Mayor, this is at least throwing a bone to the big issue of street repair and such. I do have enough there that we can make a, let's say, a significant repair as opposed to a pothole repair. But it's not an overlay of a mile of street, which I'd love to be able to do every year.
Well,
one thing I do want to tell you. I'm going to hold off on expenditure in this special revenue fund till we know where we are exactly in our carry forwards. If we've got to have a fallback, let's plan this one for a fallback. And at least it's a sock that, we just cautiously, we should not get ourselves in a position where we don't have a fallback. To date, we've never touched our emergency reserve, and we don't intend to, as far as my position is. So in order to stay out of those emergency reserves, we've got to be lucky and have the hurricanes go east as this one has done. And we've got to have a fallback until we're certain and secure with our revenue sources. And again, you just cannot project every contingency. You don't know when something's going to completely collapse or break down. We need a roof on this building. We got the floor. We wanted to do the walls, but I had Chuck inspect the roof, and he says we need to do some work up there. Now, when you have something like that, that could develop into a real problem, it's better to get that done before we paint the walls, I think. So, therefore, I'm not proposing to continue on internally with this building because I don't want to. It's because I've got things that have got to take priority first. And therefore, again, things of that nature, it's just simply prudent to have somewhere to fall back if you have to. And this is a place where we can accomplish just that. And that's the general presentation of the budget as presented, and ready to do whatever you instruct me. And I relinquish the floor now to you guys.
You had also listed the number of positions. Are we about the same as
Yes,
last year?
there are added no positions and they're losing no positions.
So we have about 60 employees.
That's correct. You know exactly. 60 is as close as I can wait.
If you're looking back at this past year, how successful were you doing what you did?
If you recall, last year you asked me to give you a budget priorities list of what we intended to accomplish with the approved budget. First, it was the continued sidewalk repair and new construction, and we finished that project. We started with, again, the walking tour, and then we came south side and did the sidewalk replacement. We completed that project as programmed and as you approved. Maintain financial support to public safety departments in accordance with the previously stated policy of the commission. We did that, and we're closing that again in this budget year. Place optimum effort within budget constraints on providing the highest level of service to the citizens. Again, in this tight times and tight budget, we're still not reducing our service level, and we didn't this past budget year. Maintain a positive impression by visitors to the city. That's the emphasis we put on maintaining downtown and keeping it clean and such. Pays benefits because we continually get compliments in that regard. Maintain fairness and equity in dealing with ever-increasing utility customers who are delinquent in payments while protecting the primary interest of the city, and we've discussed that already. Complete the renovation of the police department building. We're up as far as we can go. We're waiting on the architects now, and I believe that'll be done this year. Acquire and put into service a new aerial ladder truck with the fire department. You know we did that, and the truck was delivered while we were at Orlando in the meeting.
Will there be any additional budget expense there?
Got to put fuel in it. And in order to get within the budget of the grant loan, we had to do away with some equipment. And we're going to ease into that until over a couple of years we'll have it equipped the way we want it. Right now it's bare compared it's still here and it's usable. And whereas, for example, a 4-inch feeder line, which is what you lay from the hydrant to the fire scene where you employ your equipment, very expensive. 1,000 feet of that can cost $4,000 or $5,000. Well, until we get it loaded sufficiently on that area, we'll have to provide from the pumper, lay line from the pumper, hydrant to the equipment from the pumper. So again, we're glad we have it. We'll put it to use, but still better things are to come for it once we equip it to the degree we want to. The insurance that State Road 53 North Wastewater Lift Station improvements are successfully completed and all operational needs to implement Madison Lee interlocal wastewater treatment plant are met. We've done both of those. Fortunately, we got the replacement of that lift station down 53 improved, and we have our agreement with Lee. Lee has had considerable difficulty, as you know, with their contractor, but things are coming to a fruition here. I would let you know this, that last week we had one of those brand new pumps down there quit on us. Of course, it was under warranty. We brought the company in, they took it out, took it back, and Stan was telling me today that they have reported to him all the corrective action and what they're doing to that pump, and it assured us that when they have that one completed and back in service, they'll take the other one and do the same to it. I've notified Miss Sarah Lee about it. Said, Sarah, don't close out anything until all this is back with contractors, and suggested you might want to discuss with the supplier, the pump supplier, what he has in your lift station. But if the same problem exists, you might want to address it now and learn from our experience as opposed to having to learn from a breakout of their own. But these things happen with equipment, you know that. But the point is, we're getting it corrected and under warranty. Complete the renovation of the Range Street crosswalks. You see we're just about complete with those now. And to me, that's a considerable improvement. Those were in pretty bad shape.
Why did those, was that was a good job not done?
Well, I won't say that it was not a good job. I will say that they do it differently now.
Yeah, okay.
And we're utilizing an improved method now, as opposed to what was done there, 6, 7 years ago, was it? Whatever. And therefore, I think we'll have better results from what we have now.
Just wondering why that didn't load up any better.
Well, they used individual bricks, and it broke out individually. And now we lay a solid,
Concrete
that's
slab.
right, a solid slab of concrete and print the bricks into it. The paint dye,
I like that.
so it can't break out a brick at a time. There's no individual bricks to break out. Okay, and then we said we complete the renovation of the range. Well, that's what I just said. Next was acquire a new knuckle boom truck for service in the ever popular yard trash pickup, and that popularity has not declined. It is still the most popular service, I guess, that we provide. And we were able to buy that from non-recurring monies. Again, it did not come from the general fund, nor did it come from sanitation. It came from monies that we had. Again, and that's non-recurring monies. And when we spent the money, it was gone, not replenished. But we did get the truck that we needed. That's two pieces of equipment that we needed to replace more than any other equipment as far as I was concerned here. I was pleased that we were able to get both that and a sanitation packer. Maybe the next in line is third would be the financial system, which is not flowing too easily, the new financial system, but between Leanne and Mr. Mack, they'll get it ironed out eventually. But that's an important one also. begin and complete the rebuilding of the Madison House MLK wastewater lift station. Nothing better, right? We've done that is working tremendously, and it was constructed very well with a good contractor. Now it's functioning just fine. We have so much less work there than what we used to have with that old blockhouse. Begin and complete a new cathodic protection well in the natural gas system. We got that complete. That is to protect against rust in the underground pipes of the gas system. We got that complete. Implement the USDA grant application for wastewater system improvements. We're doing that now. Started it back in this current year. This still will go on for another month or so before we get it submitted. And then to successfully continue the effort to eliminate many dilapidated structures in the city. And you know the results of that. What we talked about earlier, maintaining a good amount of money to continue that project. Those are the list of things that identified from what we intended to accomplish with the monies you appropriated. And we've done quite well in producing what we said we would produce there. And a lot of credit should go to our department heads who use these monies wisely. They are accountable to me for how they spend it. They do well, and they have accomplished quite appropriately for what was intended in the budget last year. And I expect nothing less from this budget. I believe that we'll do just as well. Cautiously spending, get the things we need. My biggest regret, the inability to help the wages of the employees. I know that this is the time to be grateful that you have a job, but still at the same time we can't forget these folks. We don't forget them. And I don't know what else to say about that, what I have said.
You know, the one thing you mentioned is after the fund balances come in, maybe look ahead.
We will have the ability, hopefully, when we know those exact figures, to come back in and say, look, let's consider this or consider that.
When we're looking at this budget, what we're really doing is setting the priorities.
But that's what you do with every budget. That's the primary purpose of a budget. You set the expenditure priorities when you appropriate those funds. And there's nothing more important than that you do in that regard. You don't do anything more important in your job than to set those priorities with the expenditures.
Well, not just setting the expenditures, because it's just setting our goals of what we want to see accomplished in a year.
And that's what your set of expenditures represent.
Right, it
They
represents that.
represent
It represents that. And I just keep thinking about what we have tried to attempt to do in encouraging, just like last week when with our meeting, and we did it with the hospital, we said we felt the hospital was important, and that's what we voted 5-0, that hospital is important to us. Before we can move forward on anything else, we need that hospital in place. Well, in that scenario, we have the indigent care, which is we're going to have it no matter what. That's always going to be there. But on the other hand, we need to be encouraging people to come to town to live in Madison, who can pay their bills, who can pay taxes, who can do things like that. And that balances out our community. It gives help. Are we willing in our community covenant, our military family community covenant, to seek people to say we are a good return community? We would like to have you come in, but we need to say that as a council, and we need to say it so that the city manager we're all on the same page. We're all working together toward that end, and we're working to boost our community. You know, after we went to the league boost our economy, to give you a place to live, and to work together. But we've got to do it as a unit. We can't be, you know, a faction with it, and we've got to say, this is who we are as a community. To me, that's part of the budget, and that's part of who we are, and who we are striving to be, to pay our bills, to have people in here who can support us. Is that one of the goals that we want, you know, for this year, to go forward with and to move in that respect? If it is, we need to voice it and say, this is it. If it's not, we need to voice that and say, hey, we don't want to, you know, pursue that. We're not into that right now. And leave it alone, you know. I think we all need to speak to that, how we personally feel about it. And
I think we've taken some steps towards that by asking that where we have on the web any information going out about the city, indicate we are a military covenant community. And to the extent we can with the budget, I think we're trying to do it. The question is identifying specific project within the budget that could do it and where those would go.
well, I don't really think it's going to take particularly, you know, any money in the budget. I think it's going to take some verbal, say, go do it. And it's just get out there and do it. The budget, what we're trying to do is bring this budget up to where we've got money around here to do something with it. And, but are we willing to voice it and to promote it? And it's within our grasp, what we here as the city commissioners can do. Somebody was telling me they went through a community the other day, and I think it was up in North Carolina, and it said, we are a military-friendly community. You know, we welcome you. Just simple things, you know, and use this community covenant to move forward, because that's the only little spark we've got right now. Sell our community as to who we are in this aspect. And while I'm on it, I do think we have some damage control to do with the planning council. We need to write them a letter and apologize to Martha for the bombardment that she got the other night. That was uncalled for, and we need to mend that bridge and take care of it, because this has never happened before, and we've always had a wonderful working relationship with them, and I would like to see us continue in that respect. And maybe a letter could be done, and we could each sign it and say that we are so, you know, we are sorry that we acted in the way that we did. We didn't have all our ducks in a row, and we didn't have all our information together as it should have been, and we needed to do it.
Well, we couldn't get our ducks in a row. We didn't know what was going on.
That's
I didn't see her get bombarded. We just asked some questions. That's all it was to it.
Well, I felt
Roy
she
Ellis came to me and apologized that it happened to start with. I talked to Roy Ellis, and Roy said, I don't know what happened. When y'all had this on your agenda, and we didn't know it was on there. We didn't know until we saw it here.
I know.
So
It should have
we
been,
didn't drop the ball.
no, it should have been handled a little better before it ever got to us. It should have been handled better before it got to us. And there was misunderstanding in both departments, in our department and in their department. And I just don't like the feeling that it gives us. It makes us look like we weren't prepared. We didn't have the information we needed.
Because that's not what we directed.
But to just keep on it, you know, I mean, we said some, I didn't feel that Martha was treated fairly the other night. Sometimes less said is better than too much said. I was embarrassed. I was really embarrassed the way we did that. But, I mean, yes, we had to say what we had to say. And I'm not knocking that, but I just wish that we had not have gone on and on and on about all of it. And, that was my feeling. Anyway, I've spoken, and I just wanted to throw these things out and just be sure we're all on the same page and let's move forward together and have a good year and be able to try to do something to make our revenue go up and still help the indigent in our community and be a community that works together. That's my word, and I'm going to be quiet now. You're welcome. Now I've talked too much.
And I'll be glad to write a letter and send it. I don't think any commissioner would be.
Thank you.
I'll be glad to do that and leave a copy with the city.
I appreciate it.
Any comments on the budget?
I thank you so much for what you've done. I think you've done a splendid job.
Well, thank you very
Holding
much.
it
And
together.
I want to tell you folks, you don't know what a pleasure it is to present a recommended budget to you and you understand and comprehend and listen. And the support you give us when you approve the budget, it doesn't go unnoticed. We want you to know the staff appreciates that. And you also know that any time you come up with a question about it, all you have to do is pick up the phone or come in. And we'll go over it with you all we can. We'll listen to any suggestions you have.
You know we don't hesitate.
But then to anything that you say in regards to beefing our revenues, that's music to our ears.
Now, what are we doing in terms of economic development? How are we approaching that?
We support in the general fund the chamber with their contribution, and we support MCDC with contribution. I'm very active in the MCDC community meetings, and Alan and I are constantly discussing land here or land there. He gets it. I told you that when I first arrived, I made a decision that I felt that all would be better if I joined in the process and let there be one lead spokesperson in the county for economic development. Alan had already started it and was in the midst of it and doing well, working hard with it. I didn't think that we would benefit by doing a competing effort for the city only. So I thought, and I've reported this to you before, I thought the best thing to do was to join in. As long as we got treated finely, we participate and we benefit just better than if we were on our own competing against them. And you see the benefits. The Smithfield building came out of this project. There's been several other times when Alan called and said, I've got this company that's interested in this, or do you have this available in the industrial park, and do you think this would be considered a donation of land? We have these discussions all the time. So again, if everybody thinks or wants to think that economic development is a sprint, but it is long distance running. And this county and this city's got started with a good program, and a lot of people work hard in it. We wish we could see lots of quick results, but you can't. But we have seen results. We've got a firm moving into the county property out on the highway, and we've got the firm that's almost ready to begin business in the old Smithfield plant. And what kind of benefit will that be to us and our utilities? I want to tell you this, I forgot. I did not budget projections in this budget that they could produce for us. So again, they get online, another reason why we might want to relook at these things in the budget.
Let me ask on the budget, do you have any concern with
do, and legal fees have increased because of the brown site. The county was very concerned about what was happening there, and they asked if Clay could get involved also, along with the county attorney.
Where does all that show up here in our budget?
Comes out of the general fund account legal
Yeah.
fees.
I
For the
always
most
wondered where
part.
that was in here,
Now,
on what page.
again, I was cooperative with that effort because, again, the county wanted to do that. We've had to pick up some costs for that. If it gets to a point where I really get concerned about it, I'll come back to you and talk to you about that.
Is that on page 2?
In 2023,
Page 2 of the general fund, yes, ma'am. 2023 legal. And that's probably not going to be enough. But, again, if I get overly concerned about that, I will come back to you and let you know that we either find a way to finance it or we let one attorney do the work.
How are we coming with the land sale for the, on 14 Madison Middle?
Have a meeting with them tomorrow morning at 9:30. Hopefully we'll work all their concerns out. That'll be my intent, to try to get that closed or on the way to closing tomorrow with that meeting.
Hell, you
Miss
can see anyway.
Valentine helped us considerably there, and she had family connections with them and spent a good deal of time in discussion with them. And hopefully, again, we can bring that to fruition tomorrow.
They, I stopped by there yesterday, and it's the neatest thing. They were busy as could be, and it was so good to see a business, busy, they were busy. And they've had all kind of hardships, they've burned out, they're trying to operate in that little, building they've got. And they just got a really good plan to improve, but they cannot it's not good for them to put up a fence that you can't see through. You're gonna have to have something, because that's all a burglar would want, is to have a fence you can't see through, and then jump on the other side and get everything out they want. But they have put up lights, they have put up wire, they have put up, they were, right then, they were getting horns and stuff to go off in there. And they are working diligently, and it was so positive. And they were really concerned about the fact that they thought we wanted a barrier wall. And I realized they can't put a barrier wall up. But I said, you could put a fence up, and then we'll put a rubber fence up with barbed wire on the top. And I said, and we said you let the vines grow on it if you want to, or you can plant some burfenite holly right inside the thing, and anybody going over locks down, and not only on you cross barbed wire, and you jump down burfenite holly, which is,
We're going to try to protect your instructions that would be visually screened. At the same time, work with them as how to accomplish this that is the easiest for them and the way they would prefer. Again, I've got to maintain the objective that you instructed Clay with, and that was the visual screening. But Clay has constructed the writing generally, so it gives us room to work with them, and if indeed it will, I believe it will.
I'll certainly say work with them, and they have some good ideas and things to do out there. They know what needs to be done. I felt totally different after I went in and saw their operation. And they were concerned about the, later on, being, coming into the city. And they were concerned about that, and I said, listen, no, you don't have to worry about that. I said, if and when that ever happens, it's going to be way on down the line. And when it does, we're going to be developing out here at the interstate. And you're going to be so happy to have the city water, and the city sewer, and the city, all the city services, and the city police, and all of this stuff. I said, it's going to be a good joint effort for all of us. And so they seem to understand. At first they thought we were trying to get them in at the moment, that they had to come in.
see any way that we could give a bonus to the employee. I was hoping we could do something in the form of a pay raise, but I know times are tight. I know things are tight.
If we do a pay increase, that is recurring.
Just a one-time bonus.
If we do a one-time bonus, then we have to do it from, we would do it from non-recurring monies, or we could. I would never recommend that you give a pay increase, salary increases, and that which increase the salary plan, from, and fund it via non-recurring monies, because that increase goes on and on. You need the income to go on. If you choose to do a bonus again for non-recurring funds, that we've done for the last 2 years, it would to do the same thing you did last year would cost you about $35,000. Tell me in the special revenues what you would be willing to take it from. And we can talk about it next meeting.
What's available for special revenue?
Well, again, that's why I didn't recommend it. Now, you
What
gotta,
about the land sale coming up?
it's included in the special revenues. The last one, neighborhood redevelopment. See the third sale of real property, 30,000, the carry forward of 140. Then you see the expenses
What
there.
page are you on?
The last page, 28, I'm sorry. You see, these are non-recurring monies. You don't sell a piece every year or frequently.
That's a good place to take it out.
So if you see in those expenditures where you would rather spend less money on dilapidated removal or less money on sidewalk street repairs, then we could take it out of there.
Why couldn't we take it out of the 30,000 for the land and then take 5 from dilapidated?
Well, if you take 30,000 out of the revenue, you gotta take it out of the expenditures, you see. So your paying for this has to come out of expenditures, not revenues. Follow me? Or either you can't commit that revenue to the project. So if you're wanting to look for a place to decide to do differently, look at the expenditures.
15,000 out of 75, 15 out of 85.
Out of 85.
If that's what you want, we can do that.
Just
Now,
split the
remember
difference.
this. Remember what I said about this being our fallback money? Now, you're taking, we'll have that much less for fallback. I would encourage you to, if we do this, maybe to make it effective after we know those carry forwards.
And we hope that trade, that stall buyers don't help our situation a little too.
Not the general fund, but they will the utilities.
And those fallback, those figures probably sometime October.
Last year he got it to me quickly.
I mean, every time when they get in here, it's not even.
May I suggest that you folks, may I suggest that you consider what you've suggested there and to give me my instructions next month? I mean, at the next meeting.
That would be the proper
And
time.
again, if indeed you have questions in the meantime, call and ask.
And at the
But
next,
if that is your instruction, you know full well that that's what it'd be.
Okay, we said, how much out of the 85 and how much out of
15 out of 85.
if we have any?
It's gonna be a little bit more than 30,000. I think I
35.
said 35, you got to see 130.
Say 18 for each one.
1750.
Yeah, 17, 50, 18, whatever.
We'll get it done if you tell us to, between those two.
And we'll vote on next meeting.
Yes, please.
we've got 2 things to look at then. One, September 6th is identified as a second workshop. Do you need it or not?
No, sir.
Okay.
Never have.
Then at the meeting on September 13th, we have a couple things to look at. One of them is with the revision, that it would work it that would have a bonus shown there. We'll talk about that then. second, we had privilege to look at them too.
We had your public hearing,
Yeah.
and all those things are regular with the budget process. And it won't add to the time or anything else. You'll have thought it through and given them instructions, and we'll come with the numbers, the new numbers ready.
Now, a follow-up on when you talk with a general salary increase, how long has it been?
The last 2 years, you've given a one-time bonus.
This will be the third year.
Yeah, but you
Can't afford it.
It's gotten tighter on each of those 3 years. It's gotten tighter. We knew it would.
And it's
You
gonna
would
get
go-
tight. This is the tightest budget we've had.
And when you look ahead as far as the budget, not this year, but even a little further, we've got some bigger things, like infrastructure of the city.
Yes.
We've talked about streets, and a tight budget's not the time for those.
But if we could cheer, say, we have not cut services, we've not cut people, we're doing it all over the state, you know.
We're not in debt.
Yeah, true, our budgets are balanced.
Right.
We're on a thin line right now. Our contingencies are really thin, but we're making.
Now, when we have the audit, we look at what the city indebtedness is, we have the debt service, maybe also you point out how much the total debt to the city is.
And that doesn't change much.
Now, other than that, any other comments, questions? I slipped out in your box earlier, if we could look at the evaluation, and I modeled it pretty much after one from last year. And if you could fill it out and get it back in pretty close on the 13th.
And also bring, are you gonna print a complete new budget? Do you want them to bring the numbers with them on?
Bring your book back on the next meeting, and
Safe trees.
we'll have a new page ready to go if you tell us to. If you don't have to have it.
Safe trees.
Motion to adjourn would be in order.
Second.
Thank you, very kind.
All those in favor stand.
Oh, thank you.
You can save a lot of money turning that.